Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest edition of Read Plus, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called A Strong Constitution, written by Writing Monkey. Colmuck's trading port gathers all kinds of species due to its open trading agreement and location. I swear I've seen everything when it comes to alien forms. I've seen sentient clouds, floating eyes with a fixation for foot coverings, an elfkin and his slime bride eloping. Really, nothing surprises me much anymore. There were curiosities, but little truly surprises me. So when a human came before me, I only directed one eye stalk to it at first, expecting for it to disappear as quickly as it came. Humans are secretive, you see. They keep their knowledge closely guarded as well as their physical forms. They rarely take off their helmets, even in a controlled environment with air scrubbers. In fact, when they do take off their helmets, they have these breathing apparatus that cover their mouths, like they don't like sharing with air with other species. They don't even dare touch anything with their bare hands. It's obvious that they have 5 digits, but if they were clawed, bulbous, or tentacled, no one really knows. Their species collective record would probably reveal something about these oddities, but there aren't any official records for humans. Humans actually refuse to tell the Galactic Commonwealth anything about their bodies, and especially not their home planet's location. It's like they're afraid of anyone finding out. This paranoia is probably why they were not officially members of the galactic community. In fact, a galactic member technically isn't supposed to trade with humans since they aren't officially considered a sentient species. Humanity is supposed to jump through all the normal steps, you see, filling out forms and inviting the Commonwealth to your home planet to be judged by the collective. They absolutely refuse, though. The Galactic Commonwealth is stupid, if you ask me. Humans are obviously sentient if they have FTL travel and the means to hide their origins. Then again, if they were fully law-abiding, they probably wouldn't be in my dingy little stall, eyeing my salvaged wares. The Mucks, the species that ran and owned the Colmuck's trading port, weren't exactly legal either. The predator species fell into piracy after the galactic rules became too constrained for them. It is in their nature to hunt, fight, bare their teeth, and raise their hackles. On their homeworld, it is perfectly acceptable to get into a brawl with another politician or political envoy, fur flying everywhere. It honestly made for good show, and the medics had something to do afterwards, putting small bandages over all the claw marks, but some emissaries lacked a sense of humor, it seemed. The claw and whooped emissaries, mostly herbivores, were sure that the Mucks would sooner or later eat someone. The Mucks swore that they made an honest effort to not eat any sentient life forms. Accidents don't count, mind you. But the other species would not be dissuaded. They demanded that the Mucks' representatives be declawed. The Mucks, their claws an object of pride and honor, refused. Not that I blame them. Predators aren't treated very well by the Commonwealth. Most races find them barbaric for what is merely their nature. The Mucks also had the misfortune of coming from a grade 6 death planet, which has also earned them a lot of strife. Just because their planet isn't the most hospitable doesn't mean the Mucks should be punished for it. Nonetheless, the Mucks kept the port interesting. Plus, the ports gave them a place to sell their hunted goods. Really, the piracy was just a sport to them at this point, and a way to piss off the Commonwealth. A hunter's calling, if you will. But I digress. I am now curious because the human hasn't wandered away from my stand. Perhaps speaking to it will reveal something of its nature. Many agreed that they must be a skittish herbivore race, while others argued that the species is merely cautious because it has suffered a bad first encounter. Many doubted the latter because any invading race would have made a public proclamation. They would have let everyone know about their claim to a non-sentient, though technically sentient, race. That is, unless the invaders are all dead. But I rather doubt that. I mean, just look at the thing. It's only had 4 limbs, and 2 of them are strictly used for standing upright. Surprisingly, green forward-facing eyes looked up at me. There is a breathing apparatus over its mouth as well. "Hello," she murmurs, the translator and apparatus covering up most of her airy tones, as well as informing me that the human is likely female, given the range of her vocals. "Are you Veach? I heard that you salvaged Jumper L-88 engines. I'm stranded in port until I can get it repaired or replaced. At this point, repair is unlikely." I croaked an affirmative and drew her attention to the hologram models I had in stock. Some races were strong enough just to pick one up and run with it. That's why I don't keep them up front anymore. Not that she looks capable of carrying a jumper engine. Not even the tiny OXI-3 model. I stared at her for a moment, watching her second inward digit stroll through the engines I had in stock, eyeing each one critically. Personally, I was surprised she wanted that model. The L-88 engines were created by the Culvix race, insectoids. They weren't the strongest or meanest species out there, but they were the hungriest and quite numerous. They had a bad habit of eating the entire world they conquered and moved on. The Commonwealth, of course, didn't pay them much mind because they technically weren't predators. They ate only plant life. This is true, but after eating every single green thing on the planet and leaving the natural species to starve, was that really a herbivore thing? Apparently, yes. They didn't eat any sentient beings, not even by accident. Not that it mattered much. It has been nearly 6 standard Commonwealth stellar cycles since anyone has seen one. Had they finally found a planet that could keep up with their ravenous appetite, or did they pick on a primitive race they couldn't crush with their numbers alone? Who knows? Honestly, who cares? Still, it was strange that she wanted that model. They aren't exactly produced anymore, and there were better engines out there. Then again, who knew what she would try to barter in exchange? One creature had offered the salt on his skin once. I'm ashamed to say I accepted and licked the trenchula's back and neck like a starving beast. I shouldn't have, but I did. Not that I was too worried about being hygienic. Dangerous microbes are few and far in between in the galaxy. In fact, Deathworlds that contain such microbes are usually scrubbed and barred from Galactic Commonwealth immediately. I wonder what it would be like to lick a human's back. She looks, salty. The human, now eyeing me warily, seemed ready to sprint away. So I turned my attention away from her tasty-looking back. For all I know, that is where she carries her young in egg sacs, and I am threatening her young. Regardless, my main legs click as I come forward, pulling up one of the nicer L-88 engines I have. "This one is rather reliable, a little aged, but of fair quality," I said, my communicator connecting with hers. It was an older model, likely scavenged. "What are you offering to barter?" She pulled out some strange type of digipad with a glowing screen. The device has a symbol on it, a symbol that my translator says is some type of fruit. Strange to name technology after fruit. But I do like the device. It's sleek and has a different kind of look to it. Obviously, it is human technology. Though when she showed me a list of her own tradable goods on the strange digital pad, it was anything but human. She was offering other species tech, from translators, biosuits to entire battle mecha. It didn't even have a scratch on it, from what I could observe. But the Yellow never went down without a fight, and they never sold their technology. Oddly, though, a lot of these goods were older models, like they were all scavenged. Not surprising, since most belonged to lost species, such as the Tilkven, Yellow, Culvix, and the Hesh. Most were nomadic species and world devourers. The Commonwealth noticed their absence, yes, but most didn't care. Staring at this human, part of me wondered if perhaps the Commonwealth should have cared about what happened to those species. Maybe we all should care about the humans and what they are hiding. Beside me, even though I knew I should pull my smaller limbs inward in a protective stance and ask the human to leave, I voiced my curiosity. Even if no one else wants to press the humans for information or ask what happened to the Klevix, I wanted to know. Humans don't seem capable of defeating such foes. They are so squishy looking, not to mention that they are obviously outdated if they are using other species' ships.
"Tell me,"
I clicked, my translator soft and almost a whisper,
"how did you acquire all of these products? Most of these species are hostile."
The look that we shared spoke volumes. She knew that I knew what all of these tradable goods meant. It is a Muck's trading port, after all. The female cocked her head to the side as if thinking of an answer. Maybe connecting with a secondary brain if she had one, before her eyes seemed to wrinkle upwards, as if she was baring her teeth underneath her mask guard.
"Well, most of those species didn't have a very strong constitution. We literally didn't lift a finger against them. We just took a breather.
if you know what I mean. I pressed my sensory organs against my head in confusion. I didn't know what that meant. I presume it was messy, though.
Will I need to clean these products after they are purchased?
I asked, expecting to find whole torsos or pools of bodily fluid still in the cockpits. The female seemed horrified for a moment before she shook her head for some reason.
Oh, no, we disinfect everything we sell.
Everything. We like to keep our friends healthy and happy, though we cannot say the same for our enemies. The sensory on my head lifted up and then fell down, the dark feeling forming in my gut. There is a reason humans cover their mouths and never touch anything without gloves. I thought that maybe they were trying to protect themselves from the rest of the universes, but now I heavily suspect that they are merely protecting the rest of the universe from themselves. I pity any species that try to cross the humans. At the same time, though, I can't feel that bad for the Tilk, men, Yellow, Kalvix, or the Hesh. No one will really miss them, and it has been a very profitable day for me. I have a feeling one day someone will reveal humanity's secrets, but I don't want it to be me. I have a feeling I don't have the constitution to deal with such things. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.